So let's maybe start with support and resistance levels. And then I'm going to ask Samuel to actually go and rethink the question, um, phrasing the strategy that you use, because that is pertinent to that strategy. That's what the key is to it. Because I can teach you Wyckoff, I can teach you Elliot, I can teach you. There's loads of them, and that strategy in itself has got thousands of rules. So if you don't understand that, the going in and going out is going to be a very tough answer to give to you. So okay, so let's quickly get an open trading view screen here in front. I'm going to quickly share my screen, and then we're going to look at support and resistance levels, because this is nice, fun to determine. I always love looking at charts, drawing up support and resistance levels. So I'm just going to quickly get a clear chart, move it over to a clear screen. And once I have that, then let's screen share. Oh, I almost clicked the leave the webinar button there, Edward. Screen number 2. There we go. Okay, right, guys. Everybody can see my screen.
Yeah, showing up. Yes.
Sweet. Now, support and resistance. So let's see what we've got here. We've got Phantom. Now, I'm currently, today I took a losing trade on this coin. So we all lose sometimes to time. I'm not scared enough to admit it. I bought Phantom, and it went against me, and I had it leveraged. So I'm quite ticked off about this coin. This being said, let's reanalyze. Let's see where we went wrong. Now, support and resistance. I'm going to flip to the 1 hour, because it's going to give us a lot more candles and a lot more data. So one thing that we need to understand is the various different trend lines and what the meanings are regarding them. Now, support, resistance. Those are normally flat horizontal lines. Everybody can see my screen. The internet seems to be lagging a bit here.
Yeah, we can see it.
There we go. Okay, so let me just get the right line there. Sorry, guys. A support and a resistance line will always be horizontal, because that is where the market memory kicked in, where everybody decided. If you think about it, let's look at this area here. What is support? What is resistance? Let's maybe take one step back and zoom in. Support and resistance is actually just a psychological barrier that everybody's experiencing that's participating in a specific project. And what does that mean? It means, like, literally, once price got to that point, there was literally nobody else willing to pay more for the coin. As simple as that. Which means, what's going to happen when the price gets back to that level? Are you, and let's just get the chat to ask the question, and I want you to answer me in the chat. And I'm talking to, where's my chat now? There we go. Chat's open. So support and resistance, it means like that literally, how am I going to pronounce your name? Ukotuvu. I hope I did it right. I'm so wrong. Maybe Edward help me there.
Ugochukwu.
Ugochukwu. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a click here in Africa, so South Africa. So we tend to, if it's a CH and okay, you click it. But Ukochukwu. Okay, better. I apologize for that. Right. Okay. So what needs to happen is, remember now, Ukochukwu. If you look at that point there, literally nobody in the world wanted to pay more for it. And now what I'm telling you is, why is that going to be resistance? It means that if price starts creeping up, and I want to ask you to answer me, would you be comfortable buying there? Give me a yes or a no. Would you be comfortable buying there? Knowing that point there? Not at all. That's resistance.
Yeah.
That's literally what resistance means. So most people will now be uncomfortable buying that. So hence the fact that all of a sudden, once price gets to that point, you're not going to have a lot of people anticipating or anymore in the market, because they're going to be scared. Remember, the market price is printing emotions. That's all that it's doing. It's literally printing your opinion over the market. Now, let's rewind this and look at when we finally broke through. So as we broke through, what do we want to see? We want to see support flipped into resistance flipped into support. How does that normally look? Well, you can see there that at some stage people were buying above it and it fell below it and they were really uncertain. Then finally people felt comfortable buying above the level. But now for this to be a true RS flip, meaning resistance support flip, what was resistance has now become support.
What?
That flip. What do you need? You need price closing above it. Simple. Candles should not fall back under it. So what did we do? We came back to test. Now, normally, when you have a test like this, if the test succeeds, what's going to happen? The price is going to sit there. Everybody now is going to think differently. Everybody's going to feel comfortable buying that level because they now know it's support, which means if it comes back down, would you be more inclined to buy that line now versus to not act? And that is the key. Now, if there's enough people willing to buy this, it will hold. But if it's not enough people, it might fall back down to the previous area where there was support and resistance. Because remember, you can see price broke through and then it couldn't get above that level, and that was the previous resistance. So once it broke through that, it tried to go to the next level, broke above it, tried to hold it, failed. So what does it do? It first RS flips this level. Then it had another stab at it, broke it. So where was this resistance? It was over there. Came back, tested. We're good to go. We're off to the races. So not all the time, every time when price breaks through a support or a resistance, it's guaranteed that it's going to stick. So what's going to happen, and that's why trading is such a hard skill to learn, because you're going to have to be flexible in your decision making, in your strategy behind your trading, because you're buying resistance here and it's working, you're buying it again and it's failing. So it's easy to doubt whether you're drawing the resistance at the correct level, which is not the case. It's literally emotions. So now, with this being said, guys, have your opinion changed over resistance and support lines?
Nope.
Do you feel better about it? Would you? And I'm asking an emotional thing because remember you were emotionally inclined to buy that level. So now that you understand what is happening there, next time would you be able to act better? That's actually the question. Let's rephrase that. Next time when we get to that point, will you necessarily FOMO in? Because normally what happens when it gets to that point, you've been looking at the coin at this level and looking and looking and looking. And then by the time it gets there, you think, oh, now we're going. So what happens? You buy there.
Hmm.
And that's when you lose money because you FOMOed in. So that's what I talk. That's why I'm asking you guys regarding the emotions. Now, if it does that, should you feel that way or should you now say, okay, great, let's first see if it holds? Meaning, we come back to test and then you buy with the understanding that it can fail. This time it failed. So it went to the previous support and then you had to buy there. And this time it broke through and then there was our new resistance, and this time it held, which means you're gonna, and the same thing with trading. You're gonna string a couple of notes together. Sometimes it's gonna sound good. Trading is not an exact science; it's composing music. You're gonna string a couple of notes together. Sometimes it's gonna sound good, other times it's not so, and then you're gonna have to tweak it. And that's what we do with trading every day. I constantly redraw, rethink, reassess, and then just limit my risk. And that's how I become successful with this. So now let's quickly look at the stuff that you would need to identify a really good resistance and support level. Because I think that should be the follow-up question on this. Am I in agreement here, guys?
True.
Edward, do you just mind clearing the drawings on my screen there, buddy?
Uh,
Um,
who is drawing on the screen? Please, let's not draw on the screen, please. You can take it out.
okay, so let's zoom out. Fred, I'll get to your answer or your question now, buddy. I must just get my annotations. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to zoom out again. I'm going to look at this range again. So what do we want to see when we look for resistance and support? The following things are very important. When you see candle closes on the same level. So let's quickly have a look here. If we look at this range over here, where would be a good area for resistance and a support lines to be laid? So the easiest way for me to go and first look at it is I want to see where there's a lot of participation in the market. Okay. I go to areas where there's high volume. Now, remember what I said. With high volume, it means that a lot of people are in agreement. I'm not going to buy more. I'm not going to pay more for it. So we are resisting to buy. Or I'm not going to sell it for cheaper. So we are supporting the fact that this price is as cheap as it's going to get. Okay. So when you've got high volume on these areas, that would be a stronger resistance and or support level. You guys agree now with that statement? Just give me a yes in the chat or no if you don't think so, so that I can explain it even more. Edward's given me a yes. Anybody else? Or no, guys? I want to make sure you guys grasp it. Okay, so Emmanuel's given me a no. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at that again. Remember now what I said. When we got to the stop over here, let's start at the beginning. When we got to the top, literally nobody was willing to pay more for the coin, which in fact then creates resistance. Resistance is nothing other than our emotional decision making saying that there is no chance in hell that I'm going to pay more for this. So if I sell you, what is the price of a 2-liter Coke in Nigeria? How many naira? Oh,
Naira.
Edward, help me there. Naira. How
Naira.
many is it?
Yeah, that's about 2 liters. That's about
Yeah.
let's say 500 naira.
Okay, so now you've got 10 people in the room and you're all thirsty, and I've got one 2-liter Coke. So the first guy is going to offer me how much? 500. Am I right there, Edward?
Yes.
So the second guy is going to offer, and then I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to sell to you. So what are you going to do if you now want that Coke?
You increase the price.
Yeah, I'll give you $505 for it, Rudo.
Yeah.
Maybe sell it to me. And then I'm going to either say yes or no. Am I right? So
True.
I say no. Crazy. So now there's a couple of guys that's loaded. They've got good money. They've earned big. So now they're going to say, well, I'll give you 1,000. And I'm saying no. Okay. So now there's another guy. So, well, I'll give you 1,300. So everybody's in this room looking, and why is this guy wanting to pay so much? Are we going to stay in this room for another month? So now there's crazy. Everybody jumps in behind me. 1,350, and the next guy says 1,355, and I keep on declining the offers. There's going to come a time in the room where you guys are literally just going to say, hey, I am not going to pay more for this Coke. Okay. And then what's going to happen? Everybody else is going to say, yeah, me neither. And if I then turn around and go to the next best offer, and I say, won't you want to take it? What's that guy going to tell to me? Going to say, stick it. I'm also not going to pay because you were trying to. What do you want? What's the word there? You were trying to distort my money from me. Okay. So that's what happens in the market. Remember, this is that type of extort. There you go, the right one. You're going to extort my money from me because that's what the emotional market cycle is. So that's what happened over here. People were buying, willing to buy up till that point, and then they said, no, you're crazy. I ain't touching this. And then all of a sudden, there was nobody willing to buy below that. Now that's resistance. You are resisting my price increase. Same thing for support now. So now nobody wants to buy my Coke.
mm,
So now I drop the price. I say, guys, Edward, take it for 450, and you say no. Then I say, okay, next guy, Fred, take it for 400. And Fred says no. And then I turn to Emmanuel and say, Emmanuel, 300's my best price, buddy. And Emmanuel says no. And then I say, screw it, I'll drink the Coke myself. There's support. Right. Nobody ever else is going to want to, I'm not going to sell this for any cheaper. You're not going to get it for a better price. You missed it. And now we've got support. So there we had it at 500. Nobody was willing to pay more. There we had it at 300. And I said, screw it, I'm not selling it for cheaper. Now we've got a trading range. Now we've got support and now we've got resistance. Now this happens every day, every second regarding the price. And the way we look at it is we look at these high volume areas because normally what we're going to get is we're going to get some good reactions there. That was a place where a lot of people come together and agreed no more. So at that stage, a resistance formed. A lot of people came to that zone and said, no more. I ain't touching this. You crazy. And now you can start marking it out by literally now selecting your lines and putting those resistance levels in. And then the same now, let me just put it on that right candle, and the same then for the support. Because now what's going to happen is that area is support. So if we look at this trading range, can you now see there was the initial big fight, okay? But then the next high volume, there wasn't a fight and it priced it. It stayed within this range. It stayed within this range. At that stage, there was still a little bit of a disagreement regarding where the support is. Okay. We lost it once, right over there. Then it turned to resistance. I'm just going to pan it up. You can see there, nobody was willing to pay high, and then it shot right up, came back, test support. So those would be your ranges. Now, support and resistance lines by themselves does not make for a winning trading strategy. You guys agree with me? Just give me a yes or a no in the chat because you need more. Just these lines by themselves does not really help you.
true, true.
Now, here comes trend lines. So now support and resistance are horizontal lines. It's me and you negotiating around price. And we're going to get to extremes where you're going to tell me there's the door. And we're going to get to extremes where I'm going to say, listen, I'll just take my stuff and leave. And that is what the highs and the lows are. And there's the resistance and there's the support. Now, trends. Trends means I'm reading the room. Trend means I'm seeing if everybody's willing in between me and the big guy, me and you fighting over the Coke. I'm sitting in the room and I can see how people are willing to pay more, 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 more. That's a trend. So now I can plot that by using a trend line. So the idea is with the trend line, what is happening? People are willing to pay more, people are willing to pay more until they stop. Then I can get an early warning to see that, hey, people are no longer willing to pay more. We broke trend. So the rally, the craze that was behind obtaining that 2 liter Coke has now stopped. And now that guy that wants to sell the 2 liter Coke is now going to want to try and cut the price to see if he can get a deal. And that's going to be another trend to the downside. So now I can track that trend until what? That trend breaks. Because then I know finally the market agreed. Yes, we are willing to buy now. You are no longer a shark. So then they're all bigger, bigger, bigger. And then immediately that guy says, but I'm selling it for 1 rand more or 1 euro more, a naira more, and so forth. And that's how trading works. We are constantly fighting each other, trying to get a better deal. So now, if you understand where your support and your resistance levels lie regarding the negotiations over price, you can then use that as a determination factor whether the trend is either in your favor or the trend is against you. Simple. Which means if we are getting above resistance level, people are agreeing again to buy, to pay more for it. It's a positive sign. So you're going to get more greed entering the market. And if you're losing support and resistance levels, it's an early sign that people are no longer interested and that you should be looking at a trend to the downside. So, okay, when do we want to look at the trend to the upside? Let's mark that. That will be a demand because remember, I want to buy from you. So the thing is in demand. And the trend to the downside means I don't want to buy. I want to sell it at a better price to get out of the market. So the trend is in supply. People want to supply the market. So now we've got those two trend lines. We understand where's resistance, we understand where's support, and now we understand our trends. So everybody have got a good idea of what a trend is now and what resistance and support is now. Or should I touch on this a little bit more? Please let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you're happy. Emmanuel says yes, very clear. We had a couple of no's. I want to hear from you guys, especially. Uh, where are you guys feeling with this? Where are you standing with this now? There's that 3, 5, 4. Maybe you tell me, Emmanuel. I think you've answered yes. Okay, right. So we've got a couple of clears, very clear. Right, guys. So with armed with this knowledge over what support and resistance and trend lines are, will you be able to then better read the room? Remember when we looked at supply and demand zones? We looked at reading the room. When the big whale buys, the news spread like these ripple waves. So you're either next to the whale, you get in on it early, or you're going to be late to the party. So by the time you're buying, he's already selling on the other side of the room. So with this type of information, this is how we read the room. We read whether people are jumping in on a project or whether they are getting out of a project. Okay, makes sense. So then I had somebody raise their hands. Maybe re-raise your hand, or has it been removed?
There's no hand is up right now. Fred, are you
I
there?
had one just up now. I think
Yes.
maybe they took it away.
Fred, okay, I think Fred is out. Fred is out.
Mm.
Fred is out.
Fred, maybe if you want, I mean, I've touched on support and resistance, and I hope I've answered your question thoroughly enough. Let's quickly see what was the additional questions we had. So we had one from there, Calvin FX. Maybe unmute yourself, Calvin, and raise your question there, buddy.
Kelvin, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Quite appreciating tutorial. Please, can you please also throw more light on this resistance and support level? I slightly get it, but I did not get to a bit. Thank you so much.
Edward, did you hear what he said there? I really struggled.
Okay, yeah, his request is for you to maybe take a look at support and resistance a bit. He said he didn't really get it, the support and resistance level, which you just try to clear now, but he said he didn't get it clearly.
Okay, is that true, Calvin? Maybe just say in the group, the chat, you want more information on support and resistance. Just in the chat, just give me a yes, a Y or something. I know that is the case.
Are you still there, Kevin?
Okay, so let's rehash it again. So remember now what we said. Remember what we said. I think everybody understands the story and the fun little idea I placed in your head regarding the way people are fighting over price.
Yeah.
So now let's maybe look at additional areas where we can start establishing, because remember, guys, there's no right line. There's no one line that's going to be more accurate than the other line, because the harsh thing and the thing that takes the longest for people when they start trading is to understand that because it's human emotion, printing, if something external happens to you at any given stage, you're going to change your mind. You've got the right and you're going to act on it, which means a beautifully drawn resistance line that's now turned to support. If I'm going to start trading and saying, hey, right, look at this. This was a resistance. We've broken through it. We tested it. And now it's support. If I'm saying that price will never, ever, 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 ever go back below that line again, I'm setting myself up for failure, because if it gets to that level and some big whale decides this is a bad project, he knows something that we don't, he'll literally just sell it below that line. And once it's below the line, the whole market sentiment changes. Everybody's mind changes. So we tend to look at resistance and support levels. And then when you get to price where it's over here, and let's zoom in there. Once price gets here, now you're sitting and say, oh, I hope this holds. Resistance beat support better hold, support better hold, support better hold. So now you're hoping it's going to come back and it's there, and you're hoping it's going to come back and it falls lower and it falls lower. That is what you should not be doing. Because if that happens, it's guaranteed it's going to keep on trending until it finds support. You never know where the floor is going to be in, and don't try to figure it out because you're going to be ruining your whole day. It's not there. It didn't stick. Wait until you get to another point. Buy that one. And then if it goes back to that entry, you'll have obviously your trend. Your trend's broken. Sell it. Buy again. Trend's broken. Sell it. There it fails. So out of this, you would have had a couple of trades. You would have gone through there, say, okay, right, we stayed above it. We're going. So I'm going to buy at that candle there. Oops, it goes up. Where's my trend? There's my trend. There we broke trend. Get out. Now we're testing support once, twice. Let's buy the first one. We go to that point. We come back. We're sitting right there. We go again, and now we're trending. So there's a trend line for me. Once we break the trend, get out. Say thank you. So now we had two good profits by just looking at these three lines. Price goes back there for a third time. So you buy it again. It goes up, but it doesn't really go much higher. Comes right back in. You get stopped out, and there you're done. So out of this whole analysis, just by drawing one horizontal line and sitting on our hands waiting for the market to do its thing, you could have had one, two good traders, good trades. Let's quickly measure their gains. 17% there, 12% there, and a 3% loss. Now, that's good odds. That's good trading. Okay. Now, let's dive into this a little bit deeper. When we look at support and resistance now, we want to find areas. You can find a lot of them where there's equal highs and equal lows. That's the telltale sign. So there was the next resistance level. Every time price reached that level, nobody in the market was willing to pay more for it. Resistance level.
Yeah.
So every time I'm buying the support now, because now remember, this is now resistance and this is now support, which means we are moving up to resistance. I sell. Come back down. I buy. We get to resistance. I sell. Come back down. I buy. Get to resistance. I sell. Come back down. I buy. We didn't even get to resistance. We moved. I got stopped out at break even. So without trying to think a lot, and I mean, it's not a lot of strategy that I'm showing you guys or sharing with you guys here. You could have taken this trade. There you made 18%. There you made 19%, 18%. And there you lost 3. And that's all in 3 days, 4 days. Now it's easy. It's drawn up. When you only have this, and this is where it becomes hard. When you only have this, that's all you have. Now, looking at that, do you know it's going to bounce up and down there 4, 5, 6 times? No. So what do? Every time it gets to the bottom, you buy. And every time it gets to the top, you sell. If it breaks further, at some stage it's going to come back and test it. And then you buy. And then you sell. And then it's going to break through perhaps. It's going to come back and test. And then you buy. And that's how trading works. So we don't try and predict. We just try and act. So let's play it through. I bought there. Sell there. Bought there, and now you're looking for the sell. There's the sell. Now it's going to keep doing this. You buy again. Now you're getting, there's a new resistance forming over there. It's not getting above it. There's another resistance forming over there. We've tried to get above it. We failed. We tried to get above it. We failed. No, necessarily bias because that's the new resistance level. So now what do? Okay, there was the old one. Let's draw that line through. There's the new support. Support got above this level. So once we get to this line again, you buy. Now I'm buying. So now price is going back up. We're getting above this resistance. We can add to our position. Now we go again. We're testing it. Maybe get stopped out there. Now we wait. It's still hovering. We're losing it. So there's the new resistance. You buy. So we're holding. Let me just clear my drawings. We're above this level. Wait for this line and buy. There, you buy. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to break that line. If I don't break that line, I have to get out. There, broke the line. Brilliant. Good trade. We shot through the next one. Now what do I want to do when we get to this line? I want to buy. We're close enough. Let's give it another stab. Oh, that's a really bad one. So we lost that resistance. We went to this area over here. So as you can see, whether line A or line B is going to hold, or whether line C, there's no rule regarding that. If you lose this one, you take the next one. But you have to keep stabbing at it. Trading is actually work. But if you look at this, you're going to get really good trades in between. These ones, 40%ers. Then you got stopped out there and you lost 3%. Then you took the lower one, and that ends up giving you another 40%, even more. But all you have to do is consistently move your trend, your support, your resistance levels. There's an 80% there. That's crazy. Okay, so looking at this and looking at how we draw trend, support and resistance lines and how we have to act on it. Does this make a little bit more sense, the way that I've explained it now? Maybe let me know. So I've got a thing here from Enobong saying, please use the current Bitcoin chart to make it real. In a bull market, how far down can it go to be termed support? Remember now what I just said. There's no limit in any direction. The thing regarding support and resistances, when is the room going to say, stuff it, take your Bitcoin and go, I ain't paying more for it? That's when resistance kicks in. And when the room, the guy holding all the Bitcoin says, okay, I'm not selling it for cheaper. If you don't want to buy, you can take it, you can leave. That is support. And you need to think of it that way. So if those two extremes in the human emotion doesn't play out, there will never be a support or a resistance. Those lines are irrelevant. It actually means nothing. It's just a way for us to look at the chart and keep record at those points where people actually got to such extremes where there was literally nobody willing to pay more, or such an extreme where there's literally nobody willing to sell for less. That's all. So you cannot say that how low it can be, because that in essence will be an answer that will never be right. You're always going to fail. When it loses support, you get out. When it bounces on resistance, you get in. That's the key to the whole thing. Okay. So Osivi says he cannot see my chart. Edward, can you still see my chart there, buddy?
Yeah, I can see your charts.
Okay. How much time do we have left? We've got 10 minutes left.
Yeah,
Guys, any more questions?
about that.
That's a brilliant question here, Emmanuel. If price gets to the resistance level, how do we know if it will break through and go upward? Emmanuel, you will never know. That's the harshness about trading. As soon as you want to know, you need to strike that word out of your vocabulary. I want to know. We can say the charts are telling me, or the evidence is telling me, that currently volume is good and strong, might want to break through. Or looking at the lows and the drop, the charts are telling me that volume is running out, which means we're getting weaker. Then this resistance might hold. But the reality is you will never ever know. The most successful trades I make during each and every day is the ones where I don't even try and tell myself whether it's going to go. Now, this might sound contradictory to when we do large market sentiment, but market sentiment is just that. We look at the market, we see where the general trend is, we look at the news, we see what generally people are doing. Now, they're going to keep doing that until the first one says no more. And that's a trend. So if everybody still wants to buy Bitcoin, it's going to keep going up until there's more people willing to sell Bitcoin than buy Bitcoin. That's it. So I hope it answers your question with actually a horrible answer in essence, because I know when we look at technical analysis, when we start out, we've got that mindset or that preconceived notion that if you learn enough, you'll be able to guarantee a result. But the sad thing is, you will never guarantee. And if we were going to guarantee, who of you guys have actually subscribed to Master Trade? Have we ever called a trade without a stop limit? You see, we start out trading and we don't know where the stop limit is. It stops time. Would we have known that when we invested? I would have not taken $400. I would have taken $40,000. Huh? Turned it into $2 million. But you never know. And that's the thing about trading. So we work with risk management. Okay. So now I see there's yeah, it says actually makes one to want to know more to be able to trade better. Emmanuel, I wanna paint a picture. If you guys have been in a casino, give me a one in the chat quickly. We've got 10 minutes. And then I still want to get to which tool can we use to determine trade and support resistance. I'll get to your question now. But everybody in the chat who's been in a casino, quickly give me a one. Emmanuel's been there 5 times, according to him. He's given me 5 ones. Edward, how many times you've been in a casino?
Um,
Just give me a one. Have you been there or haven't you been there?
let me give you one.
74 people. Come on, guys. Give me a couple of ones there. Or zeros if you haven't been in a casino. Who's gambled? Okay, let's maybe do it different. Who's gambled?
Okay.
Give me a one if you've gambled. Okay, so I've got Abby. I've got there's a lot more ones coming through. Okay, guys. Now, if you've gambled, do you know what the outcome of that's going to be? So let's say, let's now paint the picture. We're in a casino. We're walking up to a roulette wheel. Now, roulette, you normally place your bets on a color or on a number.
Yeah.
Do you have any guarantee whether that color or that number is going to hit? Yes or no, Edward?
No.
So will I then say to you, would it be fair for me to assume that if we then walk to that roulette wheel and you've got $1,000 in your pocket, you're going to be putting the full $1,000 on that gamble?
Not at all.
How much are you going to put out of your $1,000?
A little amount.
$50, maybe. $10, maybe. Okay. Why? Because you know the chance that you're going to win is less than the chance that you're going to lose. Simple. Okay.
Yeah.
But say you walk into that roulette wheel and you know nothing about gambling. Humor me. Is there a possibility that you put that $1,000 down And on that first spin, you actually win the big jackpot. Is there a possibility of that happening?
Yes.
Now, this is the thing. This sometimes happens to us when we start trading.
Yes.
You know absolutely blow sweet nothing. Okay? So you take your first trade. Edward, your first trade, was it successful? Because you knew nothing, buddy. You bought the thing, it went up, and you felt like a champ. You said, this is easy. Okay. You, that guy, you were lucky. He put his money on that first spin of the roulette wheel. And what happened? You won.
One.
But if you now want to go and do that 10 times in a row, the guy doing it on the roulette wheel, do you think he's going to walk out a winner?
Mm.
No. So are you going to walk out a winner if you do that? No. Okay. So you have to manage your risk. That's how trading works. Now, the nice thing about trading is we've got tools and we've got better stuff to manage and measure the risk that we're taking so that we know how much money we want to put in. But there's still the risk. It's never, ever going to be guaranteed. Now, normally we think if we learn and study enough, we'll be able to determine where that wheel's going to be. Now, that's true. If you've got the ability to measure the amount of air resistance that wheel has when it turns, with the amount of force that person that we're working on the table, put out on that wheel, you will be able to calculate how many rotations the wheel's going to do. And then if you measure the weight of the ball and means if you have a strong enough computer, you'll be able to calculate with the inputs and the forces that was put where it's going to stop. But will you be able to do that with your human brain? No, you won't be able to do that. And that's why trading is the same. If I've got everybody's bank account, I've got everybody's future trading plans, I've got everybody's game plan, everything, each and everything that's got an impact on it. There is 76 people on this call. If I say, is Bitcoin going to go up now, 76 people are going to give me different answers. So if I can have all their ideas, everything, only then I will know what's going to happen next. So that's the impossible feat. That's literally impossible. So you need to erase the notion that you will always know what's going to happen next, because that's when you stop putting a stop limit in. And then when the market's wrong, that's when it punishes you. Okay. So I hope that that helps you a little bit with that last question regarding whether I should be teaching myself more to able to be sure about it, Emmanuel, because more is not going to help you, buddy. Understanding that you've got no control, that is where you're going to need to be. Okay. Makes sense. Then let's quickly go back to the previous question. So we're gonna which tool can we use to determine trend and support resistance? Now there's multiple indicators, but for me, all that I do and the best way to do it is literally look at the candles and you look for areas where there's flat tops and bottoms. Then I use the horizontal ray, and that would be resistance. And look there, boop, it came back. Once it broke it, came back to test it. Simple as that. There's flat tops. Click on it. Once it broken, it tried to test it, didn't get there. As with everything, you don't always get the trade. That's why we trade all the coins and we look for multiple entries, because sometimes it literally just does not happen for you. There's so many people playing out there. So there's a level there, broke through, came back, tested it, and went. So now you can do this, and you can do this on any coin. So now let's look at the future of where this thing runs. So let's start playing this out. And I'm going to quickly just pause. Where's our resistance? We had resistance there. We had resistance there. And we currently have resistance there. Where's our support? Support. Sell resistance. So as soon as this thing gets above resistance, I can sell because I know it's going to come back. So let's play. It's above it, trying to get above it. See, look how crazy these weeks can become.
Mm.
Let me just pause there. Gonna just expand this. Looking at this, it's not gonna work every time, but there we got a bounce. 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 Remember, it went up, came back down, bounced on support, resistance. There it bounced on support and resistance. So it's not going to help you. That's why we need more. So this would be one facet of a strategy that you would have to understand. And then once you have this, you can add in. That's why trend lines come into play. That's why RSI, price action. There's so many tools. And then obviously the trade strategies, the Wyckoff strategy, the Elliott wave strategy, the Gone strategy. I mean, there's a lot of strategies. Now you first need to understand this. Once you understand this, you use a specific strategy to start making money. So, guys, let's work on this. Edward, you'll let everybody know about the recording and where they can get it again. And
Yeah.
then next week, join us again. I'll spend more time on this, but then we'll work on it in greater depth, looking at key areas and how. Remember, I told you guys about high volume and low volume so you can see where's strong support and where's strong resistance. And then we can work by implementing a simple strategy along with this, because this is your foundation. This would be teaching you how to read, but now that I can read, it doesn't mean I can build a rocket. I first need the engineering degree. And the trade strategy can give you the engineering degree to build a rocket. But without the ability to read, you'll never ever be able to build a rocket, even if I give you the plans. And that's what we're gonna do. So we take it from there. Anything else, maybe any last question that I might have missed here on the chat? Let's just quickly go through. Edward, anything I might have missed?
Yeah, I think our time is up, Rudo.
Okay, cool.
All
Right,
right.
guys, have a lovely day. See you guys. Oh, listen, Edward. Next week, Master Trade's going to be gifting you guys with something very, very, very special and powerful.
Wow.
So please go to the To Know It Telegram channel. Everybody should be on it. Edward, do you have a link maybe available that you can quickly drop for anybody that's not there? Please go
Oh,
to the To Know It Telegram channel, the official one.
yes.
Okay. And keep an eye out.
Okay.
The Master Trade team are planning something really big. And the reality is, I'll get in touch with you, Edward, that next week, this time,
Okay.
I might not be on the webinar. We
Okay.
will be, we will be on a different webinar together. So keep your fingers crossed. It's already being built. So it's going to be a guarantee that it's going to happen. I just don't want to spoil the surprise. So join those Telegram channels, and you can join the Master Trade Telegram channel as well. You should get updates and information on it a little sooner than when it goes to Know It One, because then it's going to be all videoed up and marketed up. Do you have the link to the To Know It to the Master Trade Telegram channel, the free public one, Edward?
Yeah, is here. Okay, I have to get it.
I can quickly supply it
Okay, please
and
do.
put it in the chat for you guys if you
Okay,
want.
okay, please just do that for me so that I can share it.
Okay, cool. I'm almost there.
Okay.
Copy link. So there's the To Know It, the Master Trade Telegram channel. Edward, are you on that channel?
Yes, I'm there.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm on the channel.
Okay. Just drop me a shout out. I'll make you admin.
Okay.
It's a public one. It's there to help people get to knowledge. That's the only idea. Guys, so join in on this group. Once we have that, I'm searching for you, Edward, there, Edward, and then direct message me any of your other guys that you would want to add onto it. But let's maybe just keep it simple. I'm going to add you and make you a admin,
That's
and then we'll speak soon. Guys, get in touch. We'll chat. Stay in touch with these Telegram channels, and it's something really big. It's going to help you.
all right. Thank you very much, Rudo. Another exciting moment today with Rudo. Of course, you know how we always do it every Monday. Okay, it's Money Dance every Monday with Rudo. He has made it very simplified again today. Should I just simplify it? Oh, demystified. All right, so let's do it again next week. But please don't forget, you need to be on the Telegram. I'm going to find a way to get you to the Telegram channel, the free one. All right, but for you to get the complete information, please do well to get to the marketplace, buy into any of the product, but don't forget the master trade goes for $1,500, right, for a year. But there is a promo going on right now. If you can pay 1,000 naira, guess what? You get the master trade for $1,000 plus the academy that was $700 will be given to you for free. So rather than paying 2,300, you'll be parting with only $1,000. Friends, go for it. We had a exciting moment this morning with the master trade team, guys. There's the particular coin they asked us to buy, okay, from the ICO. The coin got to the market yesterday and did, guess what, thousands, okay, of percent in about 48 hours. Friends, you need to connect.
30,000%. We
Sorry?
took $400 to $20,000.
You get that? $400 to $20,000. Massive.
But it was in a month. Remember, we bought it in the second week of February.
Yes.
But it turned out to $20,000 yesterday.
Yeah. So now these are classified information you could get only when you connect to the masters. Okay, so please do well. Beyond just buying the ICOs and experiencing that, you also will know exactly what to do even in the market, please. All right, talking about the crypto market. So please do well to be part of this. He had just told us that there'll be a gift, something coming for us next week. So let's connect and be sure you are part of the master trade, guys. All right, till we meet again. That will be next Monday, right? Please ensure you are on the side of profit because that is what we represent. All right, so bye for now. Thank you very much, Rudo, for always making our time to come here to show us how simple trading can be. We truly appreciate you from this side of the world. All right, so bye everyone. Please keep imparting lives, because that's what we represent. God bless you, and bye for now.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.